Hi, David.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for agreeing to do this video with me. I am so incredibly grateful.
And I am so incredibly excited. It's so great to see you.
In this video, I want David's wisdom to help the women in understanding men and just understanding the male species. So are you ready for the questions, David?
I'm
Do you
ready.
think a man that is shut down, hasn't learned to be vulnerable, do you think in a comfortable relationship he's able to slowly, through the encouragement of a woman, because I'm trying to help other women out there be more open and understanding to men, to encourage them to be more open and vulnerable, to give by giving them a safe, non-judgmental, loving environment. Do you believe a
Okay.
man can become that if he's not that, to heal
Okay.
himself?
I'm just going to lead with this. Something my history teacher wrote on the board. He had a thought of the day, and he would write this thought of the day. But I was like 15 in history class in high school. And the one thought of the day that stuck with me and it became a mantra for my own healing is, quote, "For what I am today, shame on my parents. But if I stay that way, shame on me," end quote. Now, what does that mean? It means that, no, dear, you can accept him for where he's at, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's ready and he's capable of relationship. He has to do his own work. He has to go and do whatever grief work he needs to do. He has to do the shadow work. He has to get in contact with his feelings. I did not get in. I'm not this way because all of a sudden I came back from the war in Iraq with post-traumatic stress disorder and like, I'm fine. I've done over a decade of deep healing, emotional shadow work to get through sexual trauma and combat trauma and neglect and facing my fears and sit in my terror and weep and cry and heave. I've had to use various modalities to do this. I've been in support groups for 12 years. I've had to do my work so that I can show up for you. And any man has to do that. And how can you help a man? By holding him accountable to his behavior. Bottom line. I'm not saying emasculate him like, oh, look at you, you're just such and such. No. Emasculation is part of the problem. He's already emasculated. But not allowing his unacceptable behavior to continue, and by God, don't ever think that you can change a man. You cannot change a man. You cannot heal a man by loving him. We are all responsible for our own healing. And if you believe that, then I highly encourage you to do your own healing work, because that's a very unhealthy premise.
A lot of women
We are
do
all
that.
responsible for our own healing. We all must be held accountable for our own behavior. What I will encourage you to do is something that I do, is to separate the person from the behavior and see this man as a human being with feelings, and know that his feelings come from an emotional place. His behavior comes from an emotional place. And if his behavior is unhealthy, that is, it makes you cry, or it makes you black and blue, or it's destructive in some way, that means that it's coming from a wounded place. This man has emotional and spiritual injury, but it's not who he is. I like to say about myself, I am not what I've done, and I've not what's happened to me.
Yes.
I'm who I choose to be on any given day.
Yes.
And we all have that power to choose. We have the power to choose healing, and we have the power to choose denial and self-destruction. But it's not anyone else's responsibility to heal us. No woman is responsible for the health and well-being of any man. She does have an influence on those who came from her as children. She has that sort of influence. She can raise a man from a boy. She can raise a boy to be respectful, to be connected to his feelings, to be allowed to be in his emotional experience. Because when a man is able to do those things, he can then feel safe around women. That's the bottom line. We always have to remember that women are an expression of the mother, no matter how integrated a man may be. He's constantly juxtaposing his wife or his partner against the imprint left on him by his experience of his mother. Sometimes he didn't have a mother, and so that can get him into trouble. But if there is a nurturing female presence in his life, then that's the imprint and the reference that he has.
Okay.
So you want to watch the way a man speaks about his mother. You want to watch the way he treats his mother. You want to watch the way he talks about other women, and use those things as reference points, because he's going to take, those are belief systems, those are built into his belief system. And if that belief system does not support you and augment your experience of life, like for instance, for me, what I tell the women, I say, look, if it's important to you, it's important to me. Your happiness helps me with my happiness. I don't need you to be happy for me, but I love to see you happy. If you're thriving, then I'm overjoyed.
Yeah.
I'm solid in myself.
Yeah.
Another thing I want to leave is something from Thich Nhat Hanh. And he said, you must love in such a way that the person you love feels free.
Yes, I've heard that. So true.
Freedom of expression. So they are free to come, they are free to go. But that takes you doing your work to be solid in yourself.
Yes.
And that means they're also free to be in their wounded away from you. You can love someone and be away from them if that's what you need to do to be safe. So we can love a man, we can train a man. I was trained to be a killer, I was trained to be a soldier. I was trained. But you can't change who I am. Only I can do that.
Yes.
I make that choice. You can train a man to turn the thermostat up when you say I'm cold. You can train him to, oh, I'm hungry, to fix you something to eat or bring you a cup of tea. But you can't change him into the man that you need. And if you're doing that, then that's a call to do some work on yourself.
Yes, I'm in a work, definitely. I hope you gained a lot from that. I know I sure did. Remember, this is not just a video. It is a monologue. You are in a safe environment here, able to show up as your authentic self. This is the beginning of your healing journey, of understanding each other and yourselves. So comment, what was your aha moment? What resonated with you? And ladies, please, what questions do you want answered? Write it in the comments. I will answer each and every one of you, for it is a discussion. We're showing up here as sisters, and we will have a conversation, and we will cover everything that you desire. But I need your input. We are a tribe here. So I look forward to hearing from you. I love you all. Take care. Bye.